Well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Amy Bouchard, and I'm the PRSA Las Vegas Valley chapter president for year 2021. And I'm pleased to welcome you to our monthly programming. We're coming to you now from Zoom. Last year, we hosted several virtual events, and we'll continue to do so until we can meet in person in hopefully the near future. Throughout this program, please keep your microphone and camera muted or turned off so we're not distracted during the program. And please enter your questions in the Q&A box or chat box, whichever you can see. I do have a statement here that PRSA has asked me to read at all of our programs, so bear with me for a moment. PRSA's policy is to comply fully and strictly with all federal, state, and antitrust laws. Meetings and programs held under the auspices of PRSA must be conducted in a manner that avoids the fact or appearance of conduct that may violate the antitrust laws. Participants are not to discuss industry-wide or industry company prices, current or projected, or matters related to pricing such as profits, costs, contractual terms and conditions, for example, discounts, credit terms, wages or salaries, market allocation, market shares, sales, clients, customers, or any other competitively sensitive information. Compliance with antitrust laws is a requirement for PRSA membership, and responsibility for compliance rests with each member. Participants in PRSA meetings and programs have an an obligation to terminate any discussion and seek legal counsel if necessary. Also, we may terminate the meeting if the discussion may be construed to rise to any antitrust risks. And again, this is just some boilerplate that PRSA National asked us to read. Next, I want to go to some announcements for the group. We have a job board at our website, PRSALasVegas.com. You can post for free and you can view jobs for free. So if you're hiring, please make sure you post your position there. The Western District Conference, as you may have recalled, we were supposed to have this event in April of 2020. Things happened, so we moved it to, I believe it was September or October of 2020. And then we moved it again to April. Oh, no, we didn't. We moved it to April a second time. Sorry about that. And so we bumped it again. It's just too soon. So we have a new date. It is September 26th through the 28th of 2021. We will be in person at the Flamingo, so watch for more information in the near future. With that, let's get on with our program. The program title is Musicians on Call. They will cover their mission, accomplishments, and challenges as the nation's leading provider of live music in hospitals. They bring live and recorded music to the bedsides of patients in healthcare facilities, ranging from children's hospitals to adult facilities, VA hospitals, and hospices. Welcome, Melinda and Rachel. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Hi, thanks. Well, I'll turn it over to you.
Cool. Melinda, do you want to go first?
Yes, I will pull up. It actually says I cannot screen share. So I guess I'll have to wait until this slide goes down, but I'll go ahead and introduce myself first. My name is Melinda LaFollette, and I am the Senior Manager of Communications for Musicians on Call. I've been with the organization for 3 years. I am based in the Nashville office, so I'm here in Tennessee. And for my role, I manage all of our PR locally on a national level within trade publications as well. I take in all inbound press inquiries, work on award recognitions and external recognitions, and then also handle a lot of external communications to our stakeholders. So that is me in a nutshell, and then I'll turn it over to Rachel.
Thanks, Melinda. It's so nice to be here with everyone. We really appreciate you all coming to hear us speak. My name is Rachel, and I am based in Los Angeles. I've been with Musicians on Call for just over 3 years. Melinda and I actually started on the exact same day, so that's always fun. I'm a program manager, and what that means is I handle all of the logistics for our programs that we do, bringing musicians and guides into the hospital facilities. Before COVID, I managed all of our West Coast programming. So those cities included Los Angeles, San Jose, Phoenix, Denver, and Las Vegas and San Francisco. So in Vegas, I was helping with our programming at Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center for the adults and Sunrise Children's for our children's program. And now with COVID, we've switched our programming to be virtual until things are safe and settle down after the pandemic. So for that, I am managing and overseeing all of our virtual programs that are adult focused. So it's for adult facilities. And I offer that program every Tuesday and Thursday to almost 20 facilities across the US in 10 different cities. So it's a lot to keep track of, but we're doing really well with it and it's a lot of fun. So.
Great, well, I will go ahead and share my screen here and we have a special presentation. So just want to confirm, you can see that fine. Is it, oh no, it's loading now. There we go. Is it good where everybody can see?
Yes, I can see that.
Wonderful. Well, as you heard, we are musicians on call and we deliver the healing power of music. And so we're going to get into more information about, how we go about doing that and what has made us the nation's leading provider of live music in hospitals. But to really give you a good taste of who we are, you have to experience for yourself. You kind of have to see the impact of what music does in hospitals. So since we can't necessarily do that at the moment, we do have a special video that we wanted to open up and show you to give you a good taste of who we are and what we're all about. So I'll go ahead and hit play on that.
Hospitals are not happy places. It's sterile and it's cold. Is there anything that anybody can do to help warm that up? It is amazing. Music is this wonderful tool that can change and shape your day, your mood, your memories. And because of those reasons, there was no choice but to bring this into people who needed it most. So the mission of Musicians on Call is to bring musicians into the hospitals and nursing homes and hospice and walk them room to room to play right at the bedsides of patients.
So when we're in the hospital, we're seeing patients fight every day, and we're seeing their families, show strength every single day. And when our volunteers, musicians and guide go into the hospital, they're part of that same fight. They're fighting to make people's lives better.
And there's something about the live music experience that is different than what's coming out of the speaker of the TV or the speaker on your bed. There's something palpable in the room that you can't describe. It's really frustrating because describing what we do, playing for a patient, I say it, you picture it, it's really easy to get, except you actually don't get it until you're in the room because something happens, something kinetically just changes. It's really indescribable.
The beauty of Musicians on Call is we bring a completely different energy to the hospital. We bring excitement, we bring happiness and joy and ultimately healing to the hospitals. And not just the patients, but to their families and the caregivers as well. Even if it's just for a minute or a few seconds, you can tell that everyone's forgotten where they're at. And to me, that's one of my favorite moments in the hospital.
In life, it doesn't take heroes to make a difference. It doesn't take changing your life to make a difference. You can just choose to make a difference in big ways and in small ways. And getting out and sharing your stories and your ways of help and the ways you need help and the ways you can help is a really amazing way to impact both yourself and other people.
All right, so that's a couple of minutes taste of who we are and what we do with our programs on a regular basis. So looking at us again, overall, our mission is to deliver live and recorded music to the bedsides of patients in healthcare facilities. For the first 20 years of our existence, the organization started in 1999. We were going into hospitals like you saw in that video. The volunteers were going room to room and performing for patients and their family members and their caregivers at their bedsides. That changed last year. We had to adjust, as everybody did, when COVID struck and hospital restrictions prevented us from sending volunteers into the hospitals. But that really didn't change the need for the live music. It really actually increased. The demand from hospitals increased, and we learned very quickly that the need for our programs was really greater than ever before because of the COVID restrictions. So thanks to our virtual programs, which Rachel's going to describe in detail a little later, we were one of the few charities, and still are, that were able to provide programs directly to patients and caregivers in hospitals, even though we weren't able to physically be there. So since the beginning, since 1999, we've served over 900,000 patients, families, and caregivers across the country. And we anticipate this year reaching the 1 million mark, or 1 million people served since the beginning. So we're really excited about that, and just continuing to expand into new facilities throughout the country so that we can bring music to more people. And one thing that was really great for us in 2020 was that because of our virtual program, we actually reached over 150,000 people in a single year, which is the most we had ever reached in 1 year in the history of the organization. So again, kind of goes back to how great the need was and the demand was for the healing power of music in hospitals, especially during COVID. And in 2019, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. So we are continuing to grow strong with each new year. And then just a quick look at how we are nationally recognized as the country's leading provider of live music to healthcare facilities. We are very proud to have the GuideStar Platinum Seal for financial transparency. And we have appeared on the Nonprofit Times Best Nonprofits to Work For list for 2 consecutive years, ranking in the top 20 in the nation. And so those are 2 things that we pride ourselves on, being very transparent with how we operate as an organization, and also being a place that people are passionate to work for and passionate to serve the mission. And we have some examples of some of the national press that we've received over the years: Wall Street Journal, Billboard, Good Morning America, Today Show, People Magazine. We were lucky to have a really wonderful feature on CBS Sunday Morning a couple years ago that really helped us spread the word of our mission and introduce more people to who we are. So we're definitely very proud of all the ways that we're able to share the stories of people who are impacted by the organization and the different volunteers, as well as well-known celebrity artists who participate regularly. And one thing that's not on the slide, but recognition we received last year that we were also very excited about from Zoom. We were recognized for using the platform in creative and inspiring ways because we, as Rachel will describe again later, we use Zoom to implement our virtual program. So with that, I will kick it over to Rachel to describe our programs for you.
Thank you, Melinda. So yeah, we have an array of programming that we do. We've kind of shifted it through the years, but our staple program is our bedside performance program. And that's where we have a volunteer musician accompanied by a volunteer guide go room to room in healthcare facilities. And the fun part of our organization is that you don't have to play an instrument to take part. And that is what our volunteer guide role is. The guide is the escort. They go into the room first. They'll knock on the door. They'll ask the patient if they're interested in hearing some music. The patient will either say yes or no. And if they say yes, then the guide will ask the musician to come in and perform a song. But the guide is really there to just make sure everything's okay, to escort the musician, to kind of liaise with the nurses, and, just make sure that the programs go smoothly. And it's always nice to have a buddy. We have very emotional programs sometimes. So it's nice to just be able to have someone to be next to, being like, oh, that was really sweet. But it's great doing the in-person programming. You can really see a difference in the patients. And I'll give a personal experience from it as well. I was guiding a program one day here in Los Angeles, and we walked into a room with this gentleman who was very interested in hearing music. And our volunteer musician performed Over the Rainbow from Wizard of Oz. And when we finished the performance, the gentleman was crying, and he said, my wife's name was Dorothy, and she just recently passed. And it was just very sweet. And I'm crying while I say it because it was just a really special moment. So, things like that happen with our in-person programs. And we've tried to transfer that over to our virtual programs now that we can't be in hospitals. So, we were always having virtual programs even before COVID. We just didn't have them as regularly as we did now. And as Melinda mentioned, we use Zoom. So we still have the same model of a volunteer guide and a volunteer musician together. They're just on a Zoom call. And there's multiple ways that we can get that Zoom call out to hospitals. A couple ways are many hospital facilities will have CCTV, which is closed circuit television. So sometimes they can connect to our Zoom calls and beam it out to patients' rooms via their hospital TVs. So they could tune into channel 70 at 12 o'clock and watch musicians on call. Or some of my programs offer the ability to watch on a personal device. So we have flyers that go around to the patients, could be delivered on their meal trays, could be in activity calendars, different ways. And then there's a QR code that patients can scan with their cell phone or a tablet or any kind of hospital provided tablets. And it takes them straight to our program for them to watch. So we try and be accommodating to every kind of hospital facility, since some, are able to do more than others. And then additionally, we have our music pharmacy program, which basically we provide hospitals with top of the line headphones and tablets with custom playlists designed to promote healing and positivity in hospital environments. It's great for patients to, who might be getting chemo or dialysis, who are sitting for a long time. They can check out one of our hospital pharmacy programs from like their book cart, or sometimes hospitals will have little things that they can rent for the patients. So they get to take it out and just listen to music, and it's really fun, and it's free of charge for hospitals. They just have to apply and we send it over to them. And those are our programs. I think I covered everything, Melinda.
No, I think you definitely did.
And then so the virtual component has been really interesting for us because with our in-person programs, we focused a lot on the areas that we were in and the cities and things like that. But with virtual, obviously anyone can be anywhere. And we were able to actually connect artists, all across the US and even internationally, which has been a huge breakthrough for us. So we did a super special program with Xavier, who is actually from Las Vegas, and he was a big fan of Lucas Graham, and we surprised him with a special visit from Lucas that I'll have you guys watch. But it was just one of the many ways that virtual programming can change someone's life. So.
Even in school.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Well, I'm going to let you tell that directly to him. Who's here? Okay. Is that Xavier I see sitting in the front?
Yes, this is Xavier.
Hi, Xavier.
Hi.
are some of your favorite artists?
It's Graham, probably too.
And that first person you named, Lucas Graham, do you know how to sing any of his songs? Do you want to sing one for us, if you feel up to it? Okay.
We all got scars. We all get hurt sometimes. We all got scars. Yours are the same as mine. We fall apart. We all get hurt sometimes. We all got scars. Yours are the same as mine.
Oh my gosh, Xavier! What would you say if Lucas Graham was on this video call and could sing just for you?
If he was on this call with me when I sing, I would say that all his songs bring joy to me, and they really have a really good tone and beat and flow.
Wow.
I listen to them all the time, even in school.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Well, I'm going to let you tell that directly to him. Who's here? Okay.
Thank you very much for the song, man. That was very, very beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful. Sounded great.
Do you believe it?
I'm happy that you like to listen to the songs that I write and that they bring joy to you. I have to say that it brought a lot of joy to me hearing you sing Scars. That was very, very beautiful, young man. You surprised? Do you want to sing Scars together, Xavier? I got my friend Emil here on the guitar. We'll just do a little acoustic version. Just the two of us, okay? You ready? We all got scars. We all get hurt sometimes. We all got scars. Yours are the same as mine. We fall apart. We all get hurt sometimes. We all got scars. Yours are the same as mine. We all got scars. All got scars. We all got scars. Not as good as you, but I did my best.
Xavier, what do you think?
I think that there's nothing you wasn't me. Ever since I got my incisions from the fungal infection, ever since that happened, I wanted to sing it because it's true. We all got scars, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, we all got scars, Xavier. And you know what? Singing songs like this makes us stronger. Is that why you like to sing the song? Because it makes you feel a little stronger, knowing that you're sharing your scars with everybody else, that everybody has them? I just want to say I was really, really happy to be able to sing with you today. And I think it's super strong that you can allow yourself to shed some tears because you're going through something that's pretty tough. And crying can sometimes make it easier because you're letting out a bit of steam. At least that's what I tell myself when I cry.
Thank you so much, Lucas. And thank you, Xavier, for sharing a little bit more of your story and your incredible talent with us. This was so cool, and we really appreciate you spending some time with Lucas. And Lucas, we appreciate you spending some time with Xavier.
Hey, it's Lucas Graham. I'm on call with Musicians on Call. Please help them deliver the healing power of music by visiting www.musiciansoncall.org. Thanks a million.
So as you can see, that is just one of the interactions that we were able to create virtually this year. And something I'm sure Xavier will never forget, something his family will never forget. And just being able to bring that moment and that experience to him is absolutely mind-blowing for us as an organization. But it's been so interesting changing to this virtual platform. And of course, it would be great if Lucas and Xavier could meet in person, but just having this and having that whole story is incredible. And we did that multiple times last year during the pandemic. We had another story of a young boy named Tucker who was getting ready to ring his cancer bell because he was beating it. And he had a song called Titanium by Sia that he changed the lyrics to Tucktanium. So we were able to virtually connect him and Sia together, and Sia was able to sing Tucktanium with those lyrics as Tucker was ringing his cancer bell. So just creating moments like that are unforgettable and something we strive for as an organization, and really bringing joy and memories to someone in their time of need and healing. So yeah.
Oh, we don't want to make you talk.
Don't cry again. But so most of our programming is with everyday volunteers. It's Joe around the street who knows how to play guitar. It's, Melanie who knows how to sing and wants to do it as a hobby. But in addition, we also have celebrity involvement, which makes people just go crazy sometimes. They love having a surprise celebrity walk into their hospital room, or signing on to a Zoom and seeing someone like Jason Derulo come on that they wouldn't even expect. So these are just a list of some of our key supporters that we've worked with. We were featured on Kelly Clarkson's show. Bruce has helped us ever since day one. Jason Derulo did a program with us last summer, and it was just incredible. He did a program from his home, so that's also really cool, being able to see celebrities in their everyday environment. I mean, we did a program with Reba and she was just finishing emptying her dishwasher. So if that's not more relatable to anyone, I can't tell you what is. But we're super excited to have such strong supporters behind us, and to, help us get the word out of our mission and just creating such unique fan experiences. They help us by doing programs. They help us by performing at our benefit concerts. They help us by donating tickets to their concerts or auction items, just, even just retweeting us sometimes on social media. And that helps our reach just expand beyond belief. So
very grateful for all their support. So another quick look at how we help. I mean, you kind of saw it firsthand in those videos, just how it can change somebody's mood or give them a memory that's just gonna carry them through. But there is research that shows that music heals, and we offer a familiar sound in an uncertain environment. In hospitals, the lighting is not always calming, and there's constant beeping and people coming in and out of the room doing tests and whatnot. And so to be able to encounter something as familiar and relaxing as music, and sometimes the absolute perfect song, is something that's really important for everybody in the hospital setting. But there are studies that show that listening to music and being exposed to music in the hospital can improve blood pressure, help patients manage stress, alleviate pain, and improve pain tolerance, and then just improve their overall outlook and mood on the situation that they're in. And we've had feedback from patients who say, they forgot that they were in pain at the time that the musician was in the room, or they had been pushing their pain pump or had planned to push their pain pump and just completely forgotten about it because they were so caught up in the song, and it gave them the relief that they needed at that moment. So that's always been really important for us. And also there was a study last year by the University College of London that people who spend at least 30 minutes a day doing activities like listening to music reported lower rates of depression and anxiety and greater life satisfaction within COVID pandemic. So just another reason why it was so important to us to not only continue our programming last year, but also to expand it as widely as we could to reach as many people as we could, because we knew that there were a lot of people out there, even more so than in previous years, who were really hurting and needing the healing that music can provide. And we also conduct our own surveys and studies amongst our hospital partners and also with patients who participate in our programs. And so a 2019 hospital partner study that we conducted of everybody who completed the study, 100% of them agreed that the music programs that we provided create a morale boost amongst the staff, and they lead to increase in productivity and also lead to better patient caregiver relationships and have positive impacts on their patients' moods. So we're not, our work is not just for the patients, it's for the caregivers as well, trying to make their days a little easier. And last year we were able to do programs specifically for caregivers also, and giving them those same kind of surprise musical interviews that we offered to patients as well. So just trying to provide help and healing however we can across the board. So now we're going to touch on the work that we have done specifically in Las Vegas. So I'll turn it back over to Rachel.
Thanks. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm the program manager for West Coast programming, so that does include Las Vegas, and we did in-person programming at both Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center and Sunrise Children's Hospital, and we have loved working with them. They're so sweet and fun and just a great facility to be a part of. So we've been bringing them programming for the past 3 years. And we're super excited to be able to continue to provide music to them virtually through COVID. And so some of the stats that we've got for our in-person programming, we were visiting weekly within both Sunrise Hospital and Sunrise Children's. So we would go every Tuesday and we would visit on some of the units. And we were able to reach 3,264 total individuals when we were doing in-person programming. And we had 4 celebrity visits, one of them being Lady A, which we host in their auditoriums, and it always draws a crowd, and it's just really fun to get people to kind of break up their day. And then with our virtual programs, as I mentioned before, I offer it every Tuesday and Thursday. So we're doing 2 times a week for the adult demographics. We also offer a program on Wednesdays for pediatrics. And then we've done 3 celebrity virtual visits, which has been really fun. We had Lee Bryce, and we had Chip Eston and a couple others. So it's been a really fun experience to still be able to bring these special experiences to the hospital caregivers and the patients. And then Sunrise also takes part in our music pharmacy program. So they have 6 different tablets that are set up and ready for patients to use. It does have unlimited access to Amazon Music and our special MOC curated playlists. And then they come with a set of Bose noise canceling headphones for each set. So that's a really nice perk of it and something special for the patients to use. And we're just really excited to be able to offer programs to our friends in Vegas, and I always enjoy going out there. They're very friendly and always fun to be around. We have a great group of volunteers out there, some who perform in casinos when they're not performing at the hospital, and it's just a really nice break for their day, I think, because a lot of Vegas is, everyone's there to perform and make money and make a career, and these musicians have said that they love being able to just come off the strip and go to the hospital and do something really meaningful and special. So those are just the little pieces of our Vegas program. We also came to Vegas, this was before I started with Musicians on Call, but something that is always near and dear to our hearts. We came to Vegas first for the October 1 emergency response. 1 week after the tragedy of Route 91, we just got a group together. We flew out to Vegas. We teamed up with Country Music Association, with CMT, Southwest Airlines got in on it as well. And we wanted to bring the country music community to Vegas in this extreme time of healing. And we were able to go to Sunrise and bring Charles Esten, Michael Ray. We brought the Railers, Brandon Ray, and Fillmore, and they all performed at the hospital in Las Vegas. They performed for the caregivers. They performed in the rooms of patients and victims and survivors. And it was just a really special experience. After something so traumatic, being able to have music come and bring everyone together and show them that things are going to be okay and that we're all in this together and we're going to get through it, I think was just very special and meaningful, and something that we are just super proud of. And like I said, we hold it very near and dear to our hearts. And we actually went back, we did like 2 visits that week. One was for the day shift, and then we came back and did a special program for the evening shift. And those were the nurses and the first responders who were actually on call during the Route 91 Harvest Festival. So being able to bring it directly to the ones who helped everyone, I think was super powerful. And then, as I mentioned, we do have a lot of artist supporters, and we've done a lot of special visits with Musicians on Call in Vegas. Just to name a few, like I said, we had Lady A come, and that was really fabulous. We had Andy Grammer perform virtually, Lee Bryce performed virtually. Charles Esten is always a big fan of coming to Vegas and performing for everyone. Michael Ray and Brandon Ray. We had King Calloway come and perform at Sunrise, and also the Railers and Fillmore. So we are never shy to come to Sunrise with someone special. And I know everyone seems to always ask what's next. We have our virtual programming, we have our in-person programming, and now with COVID, we're just trying to figure out where we're headed. So we've been working on developing a new portal. So it's like a program delivery model that allows us to better serve patients and hospital partners while we expand and bring music to more people, from time to time. So the new model will transform how MOC functions and will allow our programs to scale dramatically. And basically the portal is going to give hospitals a view, as well as musicians and our volunteers, and almost make it like Uber in a weird way. So it's really bringing musicians on call to be on call. A patient could have this app and this access to the portal, and they could be in their room and say, you know what, I really want to hear some music. So they go in and they could request a musician to come and perform either in person or virtually. So we're trying to figure all of that out and create this to be something super special for patients and for hospitals to use. And, right now, we were really focused on bringing music to a specific city. Like we could be in Las Vegas or we could be in Los Angeles, and we'd have our roster of musicians who could come and go to the hospital. But I think this will allow us to be all over the world, and it would let someone in, I don't know, a small town in Indiana that maybe we don't have a presence in, be able to request a musician who's like, yeah, I actually live in that area, or I could do this virtually. So really bringing music to someone's fingertips and allowing them to access our programming wherever and whenever.
So that covers the main part of our presentation. You're always welcome to visit our website, www.musiciansoncall.org. There's always updates there about what our programs are doing, how we have different initiatives going on, any virtual concerts we might be putting on, things like that. Definitely you can find us on socials as well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's at Musicians on Call. We are always posting about our wonderful volunteers and just the impact that they're having through the programs. We also have our information on here as well. Rachel and myself. You have our email and our LinkedIn. Definitely feel free to connect with us if you ever have any other questions about what we might be doing in Vegas or what we might be doing just across the country. We would love to be able to answer any of those questions. So with that, I can stop my screen share, and we are happy to answer any questions there might be.
Yeah, I saw some questions come through the chat. So
Yeah, fantastic. That was so great. Thank you so much for sharing. That was such touching stories. Oh my gosh, I was getting teary here at my desk.
welcome to Musicians on Call.
Well, a member had a question. I think it's a really good one. As you said, creating moments is so important. How do you translate that to ongoing PR opportunities? And when you have so many great stories to tell?
Yeah, it definitely, from a PR side, it makes my job a little bit easier to have so many amazing stories to tell. And it's a matter of choosing which ones really we want to put out there. But also we want to keep these moments as special and private to the participants as they want them to be. So we never put out any stories without the participation and permission of the patients that were involved in, and also volunteers and artists as well. So it's just kind of a matter of, finding those really just amazing stories that show the impact. And Xavier is just one of those prime examples of how much you could see how much it meant to Lucas Graham as well. And so just from both sides of it, you can see that the impact that the program has. And so we do just try to, share those stories as much as possible, and let people know that this is what music is doing and this is how it's healing. And then if you want to learn more, then you're welcome to, check us out. So.
Very good. And we got another question. What's your biggest need as an organization?
Rachel,
Everyone.
try that one first.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends because we cover so many areas. I mean, for me as a program manager, my biggest need is always volunteers and people wanting to help out and, donating their time, but also just being able to spread the word and help us champion new facilities and new areas. And then also, I mean, all of our programming is done at essentially no cost to the hospitals. Some definitely do come in and want to help us out. But I think a lot of our funding comes from auction items and experiences and just, things like that. So that's always a need, is fundraising, just like every other nonprofit. And we always encourage people to, either start a Facebook fundraiser or, look at certain things like that. But really, when it comes down to our biggest need, I mean, it's just spreading the word about our mission and telling people what we do and who we are, and getting people involved.
Okay. With that, I had a question about how virtual has changed your awareness, your engagement, donations, media coverage. How's going virtual changed your impact?
It's had an incredible impact on what we're able to do. I think to a level that even surprised us last year. We didn't anticipate reaching as many people as we did. And it's made it so much easier because you're able to bring people together no matter where they are. For a regular virtual program, the volunteer could be in Nashville, the guide or musician could be in Nashville, the guide could be in LA, and then their program is being broadcast to hospitals in 6 different cities across the country. So it's just made it so much easier to bring people together, and then be able to do it more often. And that gives us then more stories to tell, more content to show the kind of impact that our programs can have. So it really just up to the volume on what we're able to accomplish, and then how we're able to tell that story and share it with everyone.
Oh, neat. Okay. Here's a question from Amanda, our past president of the chapter. What are some of your top challenges in engaging talent to get involved?
That's a great question. I'll take that one, Melinda, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before COVID, one of our top challenges with engaging talent was just their schedules. People were on tour and they had other events that they were doing. So being able to like match up when someone was in the city to come to the hospital and take 4 hours or, however much time out of their day to go and play for patients was challenging as much as they really wanted to do it. Sometimes it just wouldn't fit into their schedules, and that's okay. Another challenge is that some people are not comfortable in hospitals, and that is 100% okay. It's hard for someone to see a patient, or maybe they've had their own experiences with death or an illness or something like that they are just like, I don't know, I'm freaked out by needles. So sometimes artists aren't comfortable doing it. And it's definitely a different experience for, playing for like a stadium of people versus playing for one person in a room. So there was a lot of challenges between that, but it was always something that artists would say, wow, I'm so glad I did this. I'm so glad, they've literally said I've gotten more out of playing for one person than playing for a whole room of people. So the experiences are always different, but now with virtual, it's kind of helped us out with the scheduling because thankfully artists weren't on tour last year. But even now, they have the ability to beam in for a program when they're backstage or right after their sound check, or even show a patient their sound check. So that's opened a whole new, range of what we can do. And then again, if someone's uncomfortable being in the hospital, they don't have to be in the hospital. They could be in their living room and just sign into a Zoom and reach however many patients or caregivers and kind of get a similar effect, but without putting themselves in an uncomfortable situation. So.
Great. I hadn't even thought of that. That with, some people would be uncomfortable with being in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That's a challenging environment. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Did you have any closing thoughts or anything else you'd like to leave us with, or parting wisdom?
I did see a question about how we're going to celebrate when we're back in person. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. We're waiting for the day. But we know that a lot of my, volunteers are just counting down the days till they go back into the hospital. And they've said it's such a different experience to be virtual, but still as rewarding. And I think that speaks volumes to what our program offers and just the model that we've created. So I think everyone's celebrating for sure.
Fantastic. Well, are there any other questions that I might have missed that you want to answer?
So we so appreciate you having us here and letting us give you a little taste of what Musicians on Call is all about. And yeah, just absolutely, if you want to learn anything else about us, you can find us online, and please don't hesitate to connect with us. We'd be happy to chat.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to hear about your program. I have not been aware about your organization before, and it sounds like you're doing some really incredible work. And it's a challenge during this time that, you were able to shift and make it work so well for you. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we had a great foundation before COVID, so it was an easy shift for us. And we're super grateful for that.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And with that, we close. Watch for your email for announcements for our upcoming events. And thank you for joining us virtually. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.